a Rasta man is a peaceful man, and he is a conscious man in the society. Sometimes people normally see us with this kind of hair and think that maybe if someone wears long hair like this or dreads, that man is a dangerous person, is not good, he doesn't fit in a community. But what I know, Rasta man is a conscious man, is a humble man. He troubles no one, yeah, but he always like to encourage peace, yeah.
In the spring of 2013, I had the incredible privilege of living with the Brothers of Mother Teresa for a little over a month. They are the most amazing group of men I've ever met, dedicating their entire lives to the service of the poor in slums around the world. At their compound, they're caring for about 30 or so mentally and physically handicapped men from the Kibera community. And more than care for them, they truly love them. The brothers also run a free school in the slum. It really gives the kids a chance at a future. And also, the kids get a meal there during the day, and for many, it's the only meal they'll get. Also, the brothers regularly go into the community of Kibera to help there as well. They do home visits and seek out the most vulnerable and do everything they can to help. If you visit the brothers, the first thing you're going to see when you drive up to their compound is this odd little bit of graffiti.
Peace wanted by Zulu.
For me, this was just a bit of a curiosity when I first saw it. I was in Kenya in 2009, shortly after things had settled down from the 2008 post-election violence, and I assumed it probably related to that. But after you enter into Kibera, you begin to see more and more of these messages. It's a variety of things. They change a little bit each time, but they're all peace messages. I started to develop an interest in solo because I've been involved with the peace process in Somalia. I'm a co-founder of an organization called the Somali Institute for Peace Research and also Empower Somalia. And more than that, I use my design skills, my creative skills, filmmaking, photography, to further the peace process. And I kind of felt like here's somebody working in the slum of Kibera who's pretty much doing the same thing. He's using his artistic skills to hopefully affect peace. Unfortunately, my agenda and the things I needed to accomplish that first time in Kibera was so full I didn't have time to even think about finding solo. But I really wanted to meet him, and I was determined to return.
Yes. Okay, my name's Solomon Muyundo, aka Solo 7, and I'm living here in Kibera. Kibera is in Nairobi. It's like an urban slum. So I'm a visual artist as well as a peace activist. Yeah. I started this peace initiative after the during 2008 post-election. So it was during that time when they announced that President Kibaki has won election, and yet people expected Raila to be the one who should win the elections. So, and Raila was an MP of Kibera here, it was in Langata constituency. So, and most of his supporters, this Kibera was his stronghold. So when they heard that President Kibaki has won election, it erupted violence. People wanted to go and protest in town against the ruling, but due to like the government, the policemen, they obstructed them from going to town. So it was like a hit back in the community. So people started looting, torching goods, houses, and even shops. So it's when I came up and saw that we can't be living in this kind of situation. So me as an artist, I decided that I should come out at least also to protest, but in a peaceful way.
Can I help him?
It's okay.
Sure.
What I experienced during the post-election violence, that's 2007, 2008. I was right within Kibera, a place called Makina. In a barber shop, we were just chatting with friends there. Then it was on 29th of 2007, December. So I saw a group of youths in their large numbers. They were like shouting the slogan, "No Raila, no peace, no Raila, no peace." And that came after they announced that President Kibaki has won an election, and yet people expected Raila to be the winner. So he was leading the votes ahead of Kibaki. And just a single overnight, it turned up that President Kibaki has won an election. So people became angry, became mad, and they wanted to go through Toy Market to go and loot Uchumi Supermarket, which is in Adams Arcade. So one of the protesters was hit by a stone. Then there was a nearby kiosk. I went and bought an elastoplast, sealed his wound, and I told him, even in war there is some doctors. But if you can feel like going back home, well and good, it's for your own goodness. If you feel like proceeding, it's upon you. So those who are guarding the goods at Toy Market decided to go and rescue some of the goods of their employees. So this group managed to enter into the Toy Market. But their main aim was to loot. So others were trying to put off fire, others were looting. And fortunately, I got just a piece of charcoal on the ground, and I went ahead of some of them, starting to write on belts of clothes, ODM base, ODM, Anyola, ODM. Anyola is like a Luo word, meaning like a homeboy, yeah, like our fellow youths or whatever. So I mobilized those signs, and first and foremost, that inspired me to do the same was that whenever there was Raila's poster, no one looted there. But whenever there was a PNU poster, you could not find anything. They loot and put the structure ablaze. So I realized that those goods that I wrote on them ODM base were never looted. So that is the thing that inspired me, and I realized that science could speak louder than our voices. So after that, we were approaching New Year. So on the 1st of January 2008, there was no happiness within the people of this community, because as our culture, we as Kenyans or the rest of the world, people normally greet each other, Happy New Year. So there was nothing like that. So after some few days, when I was going to my studio where I used to work, I saw a Daily Nation newspaper, and there was a headline reading that 3 days for mass action. The ODM announced that they want our supporters, like the ODM supporters, to come out in their large numbers to protest against the ruling. So to me, I said, whoever has published this doesn't know the consequences, because whatever had happened earlier, it was Kenyan citizens were expressing their anger that they have been robbed their victory. And now, the nation has not yet healed, and they are stirring it up again. And I said, to me, that many are going to starve and some are going to die. So I didn't know which group will I be, because me as an artist, I normally depend on commission jobs, like I should paint some kiosks or shops or matatus to earn a living. Like we survive on wages. So if there is violence, there is no way I could find food. Even here in Kibera, there's no one who has got a store of food that can sustain him even a month, you see. So I said, no, I can't sit down and watch this happening. I'll go out on the streets to protest with them, but in a different way. It's when I decided now to pick paint and brush to go out on the streets on the first day of mass action. So on the first day of mass action, I realized that people came out in their large numbers to protest against the ruling, but in a cruel manner. Like everybody had armed himself with a weapon, a crude weapon, machete, stones, batons, you can name them. But they were out on the streets, like along the tarmac road, chanting slogans, no Raila, no peace, no Raila, no peace. Some scratching machetes on the tarmac road, causing some sparks. So me, by that time, I was just writing like messages like, keep peace, fellow Kenyans. Peace wanted alive. Keep peace alive. Like random messages according to the way I've thought. Like, Zuia Noma, Chagua Amani. I used to mobilize those signs, and I realized by the time I was doing that, these international media and local media people, they were like concentrating on me to take some footages. And I realized that even those who are causing violence and chaos, they wanted to be caught by the media so that the rest of the nation can realize what they are feeling, you see, or to express their anger countrywide. But now the media men caught attention of me and like, Solo, you are doing a good job, keep it up. So after a short interview, they could even like dash me some money, at least to buy the paint and sustain myself with food. So these protesters realized that there's no one who is attending to them or who is paying attention to them. Then they started throwing their stones slowly, batons, and now they were the ones who are calling me, Solo, come and write here. This is a good strategic point that anyone could see it. So I mobilized those signs slowly, and they could even call me in their neighborhoods. Solo, come in our neighborhoods. We have seen all your messages just along the road, but why can't you enter into the villages? Because in the villages, it's where we come from and we live different people there. So can you bring that kind of peace in the village? Then I realized that now the messages that I wrote were creating an impact, and they gave me courage to come into the villages.
About how many of these do you think you may have made?
During that time, during the post-election violence, I made like about 5,000 messages, because I used to write across the tarmac road, on the bumps, on the trees, wherever was possible, I used to apply. Even there is, also I had a pet, a dog, and during that time it was hard to feed the dog because there was no shops around and food was also a problem. So I decided to write on my dog like, peace wanted alive, on both sides. So wherever it could go to hustle for its own food, no one could hit it with a stone. So in fact, it was covered on a Nairobi Star newspaper.
It's impossible to imagine anyone hurting the men who stay with the brothers or to attack the brothers themselves. But when mob violence is in play, normal restraints are gone. I asked one of the brothers what happened during those days here at the compound, and he told me they could hear the mob approaching, and they could hear the yelling and the screaming, and even the sounds of fuels being ignited, and even the fire itself. The sound of it kept getting louder. Then they could see the smoke coming over their own walls, and finally the mob arrived at the gate. They started pounding in order to knock the doors down. The brothers had already gathered all the men they care for into the center of the compound. They surrounded them with their own bodies, and they had determined that anyone could come in and they could take everything the brothers have, but they were not going to allow any harm to fall to the men in their care. Then something amazing happened. The mob was heard debating outside the gate whether to break in or not. Many wanted to go in, but others were arguing that the brothers have done so much good in the community, and that even some in the mob had benefited from the work they do. And reason won out, and the mob moved on, doing no harm to men or property.
My name is George Manini, and I'm a resident of Molo District. And being a resident of Molo District, I have a bit of history about Molo. Apart from the fact that I ran for office as a member of parliament for Molo, I'm also a resident. If I'll be allowed to use the word native, I'm a native son. We have various problems in Molo. One of them being tribal conflicts. If we can go back to history, we might be able to understand and to know who we are and where we are today. Kenya is comprised of various tribes, and historically, these tribes were played against each other by the colonial government. The colonizing power, Britain, used tribal differences to maintain themselves in power. And this has grown to a monster today. And in any country where institutions and structures are not well developed, the political elite usually, like in Kenya, turn to tribal affiliations. And in the case of Molo, it is tribe that is played against the other. Of course, there are conflicts. And these conflicts come about due to resources, scarcity of resources, especially land. Historically, the Kikuyus land was alienated by the British. And Kipsigis land was also alienated by the British. This is where the British colonial farmers were doing and carrying on their businesses. After independence, the government policy was, if you can afford, you can buy land in the former White Highlands. Colonial farmers who were living were compensated by the government. And if there was a willing buyer, there was a willing seller. And when this land was bought, it happened that most of the land in the Rift Valley was bought by the Kikuyus, with a few other farms bought by the Kipsigis, the Nandi, a conglomeration of tribes under a title Kalenjin. As I said, we have scarcity of resources, specifically land. And this is where they exploit. If you allow this particular tribe to take over leadership, then they will appropriate your land. And of course, when people's fears are exploited, they tend to believe that is the thing. So the Kikuyus versus the tribal grouping called the Kalenjin have always tended to fight over this land. It has continuously been like this. As early as 1938, my grandmother told me they had their first conflict in Nandi Hills over the same problem of land. It has continued. And these tribal clashes have always, that is ethnicity actually. Ethnicity is what is exploited. It is a problem that is not going to end not unless the politicians or the leaders agree and accept to sit down and sort it out.
When the violence was over, I realized that there was like people who were undergoing trauma, and also children were also undergoing trauma because due to political boundaries. Like now, the PNU kids could not play with the ODM kids, you see? So their parents are the ones who could restrict them from playing with each other. That if you play with that family, you'll cause chaos into our home. So, and there was a lot of ruins all over. So we decided to beautify the ruins, me and my fellow artists whom I used to work with them. And I decided now, why can't we work with these kids? At least to mentor them to undergo this kind of trauma. You know, kids are eager to learn, and whenever they could see us with the brushes and paints, they wanted to join us. So we just welcome them. Can you draw anything? Can you paint anything? Whatever you like. So at first they were painting like hate speeches, but slowly they overcame that, and they started now to paint positive things, like they were nursing themselves through that trauma. And I felt that it was really working. In fact, it's the kids who brought these families together again, because we used to pick kids from anywhere as long as the kid is interested. And now we realize that also we had problems with the parents also, because kids were going home like maybe their clothes are dirty with the paints. So at long last we decided to buy for them like t-shirts, to wear the t-shirts whenever they are painting with us, so that they are uniform. Yeah. So, and the t-shirts were written "Peace Wanted Alive." Nice. Yeah. So they were like ambassadors of peace in their own families. Because we used to offer them like some juices and snacks, so they feel like they are one family. And slowly, these kids, they made us to know their parents, and we could even go and talk to the parents and tell them what the kids were undergoing and our mission with these kids. So we did like that, and until we got a lady from California. Her name was Gloria Simono. She saw what we were doing, and she said, Solo, you are doing a great job with kids. I like also working with the kids. I've been working with the street kids in California and in different countries. So she came to give us a support. It was now like a daily routine during the weekends. Every weekend we go out with the kids to paint, and she used to give me like allowance fee, artist allowance fee of 1,000 bob per week. So, and she used also to cater for the refreshments for the kids. And sometimes she could even take them out for a trip, like swimming and all that. So kids they mobilized each other, and we had a huge number of kids, you see. So, and the parents became friends, and even for those who had ran to take refuge in the IDPs, they came back slowly. We have those who said no, they won't come to Kibera again. Kibera people are mad, they are murderers, but we managed to bring the community together again. And I saw that since Gloria went away back to California, and I was no longer working with Masai Mbili, I saw that that dream should not just vanish like that. They wanted to launch this Coca-Cola Zero. It's a drink, you know, free from sugar and yeah. So the slogan was, it's possible, you see? So, and we are approaching like elections. We are approaching the campaigns also, like the 2013 campaigns. So one of the advertising agents of the Coca-Cola, his name is Jason Bruckner, told me, Solo, I've seen your messages on the net, and I think your messages are greater. And we would like to use the message at least to promote your work, or to, because it was like the messages were within Kibera, but now we wanted to take it far from Kibera, like in the suburbs of Nairobi. So he told me, would you permission me to use your slogan? Then I say yes. Then he showed me whatever he had downloaded from the net, and he wanted me to take him around and see specific places where I wrote those messages. Then I took him, he took the footages for himself. Then he said, now, this is a deal. How would you like me to help you beside this? Because I want just to appreciate your effort. And I said, the only best way you can help me is at least to help me raise a school, because I want also to inspire kids. Because today I'm leaving, maybe tomorrow I'll not be there, but I should leave a legacy behind me. So he said, okay, I'll try and figure out and see, according to my budget, how I'll help you that. Then he decided to do that. Yeah. So on Monday, they normally come after the normal school from 4 to 6. Wednesday the same, and Monday, Saturday they come here at around 9 to 1. So on Wednesday they normally have like tea and chapati, and Saturday they get tea at around 10, and 12:30 they get food like rice and beans, or chapati and beans. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
it's all, nothing's cheap in Kibera.
Yes.
And so most schools charge. What do you charge the kids?
Here we don't charge them at all, because it was our initiative to help kids. So we don't need anything from them. At least what we want them, at least to have experience in their life. Yeah.
Right.
And our main mission was to mentor their talents. And I realized that kids were isolated from others, and you know, kids are free, they have no grudge, they don't know nothing about politics. And so far, they had also omitted art in primary schools. So according to me as an artist, I know that art is like a therapy also.
The school is mentoring and it is therapy, as Solo says, but I also see it as being similar to what the brothers are doing. It offers the kids a safe haven, a place to get out of the poverty and just be kids. And I think more than anything, that's probably what makes it so important.
So, yeah, we had agreed like a 2 years term contract for him to fund the school, and according to my budget or our budget, we were targeting like 30 kids, and you know, it happened that kids turned out in like large number to 50, 55, and we were running on the same budget, so we have to minimize some few things so that we can fit into that budget with all those kids. And now we are left with only 1 year for that contract to be expired. But I'm wishing that if there is any well-wishers who could support the same project so that it can keep on running, it will be great for me and for the whole society. Yeah. Yeah.
You did some more work, didn't you, leading up to 2013? Maybe some more paintings? Or?
Yes, I did. And I started the campaign, the peace campaign also earlier. Like I was going around writing, vote peace, keep peace, fellow Kenyans. Like Zuia Noma, Chagua Amani, it's like prevent violence and choose peace. And like the same message that is just right outside here, peace starts with you. You are the peacemaker. You see, I started to mobilize those signs, hoping that whatever happened during post-election violence 2007, 2008 could not happen again. And truly, I appreciate it never happened the same, because they are also like church people, religious people. They were also preaching peace. And the NGOs around, they were also preaching peace. And after the post-election violence, we had some peace forums. Yeah, we were attending some peace workshops, mediation, like that. Then so people learned from their own mistakes of 2007, 2008, and they didn't want it to incur again, because they incurred a lot of loss. Some people lost their beloved ones, their valuables, so they didn't want such a thing to happen again.
Right.
And I thank God it never happened. Yeah.
How do you feel about Kibera? Do you have a lot of hope in,
Yes.
in the community and in possibility of change or improvement?
Yeah, I have hope with the Kibera people, because you know I've been to other places, but I realized that people who are living in urban settlements or slums, these people are very much creative. I call Kibera like it's a college. It's a place of ideas. There is no idle mind within Kibera. And despite the fact that we also have some criminals who normally try to ruin the lives of others, but still we can change them. Through messages and forums, we can change them. Because I realize that some of these youths maybe who turn into crime, they are very much talented. But due to like inertia and the all these other things, they involve themselves into crime. You see, we have lost so many youths after the post-election violence. You see, who looted free things, and they thought that that's the only way of earning a living. They ended up being thugs, even possessing guns. But today, they are not with us. And some who tried to reform, they are now in youth groups, like doing the cleanups and organizing themselves like a youth group and seeking a loan, doing some important things. So I believe that being in slum doesn't mean that you will live there forever being poor. You can change yourself, get out of it, or stay within and mend others also. Yeah, it's just a matter of helping one another. Yeah.
Looks good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Nice, excellent. Can I get you to sign my backpack?
Yeah.
Paint?